Hello, Darlene.
Hello, Brian.
Fat husband, take 30.
Day 30.
Yeah,
Wow.
who would have thought?
Yeah.
So for what it's worth, I've done 30 days, right?
Yep.
And I felt really good through the whole thing.
Yes, you
The
have.
water fast, the intermittent fasting.
Yep.
Going forward, yeah. I've lost 26 and a half pounds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good. So yeah, yesterday was one meal. It was a big meal, 16 or 1700 calories.
It was.
That's a huge meal, even for a big
Even for a big boy.
fatapodic guy, right? That's a big meal.
Yeah.
So I had a big meal. I walked 26 kilometers. It was crazy hot, like
It was.
upwards 40 degrees.
It
right?
was.
Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Felt great.
Yeah.
Okay.
We keep forgetting to mention that you're not on any medication,
No, I'm not.
because that does factor into when you're starting any kind of diet regime or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
Now, you have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, which is controlled through food
When I choose to.
when you choose to.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
not the way to go.
No.
But yeah.
No.
I mean, controlling through food is
Oh,
absolutely.
that is the way to go.
Right.
But you have to do it.
But you can't allow yourself to get off track.
No,
So I'm done
no.
with all that going forward.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So go see a doctor if you want to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. If you're
We're
on
not-
medications, you have to be careful with that sort of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
So, what about, like, this is the longest you've gone. We just looked at each other today and realized that.
Actually, I didn't. You looked at me and realized it.
Well, yeah.
Right?
I mean,
But
yes,
it's true.
Yeah.
So this is 30 days,
Yeah.
and I have not been off the diet once.
No.
And that included a 12-day fast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
A 12-day water fast. And that's another thing with fasting, too. The key to a water fast, surprisingly enough, is you have to drink liters of water every day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can get into lots of trouble real quick. Right?
Hence the name. Yeah.
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 Anyways,
Anyway, so you have lost weight in the past. You've done
right.
some short,
And I've done
shorter fasts.
I've done different diets.
You've done ketos. You've done every
Right.
diet there was.
Right. Weight Watchers.
And it was always white knuckle through it, right? And you
Right.
got results, but it wasn't
Right.
easy. You-
So I always worked out. I
yeah.
always exercised for like
Yeah.
4 and 5 hours a day because I was retired, right?
Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah.
And I would, I would weigh everything, right? It's like
Yeah.
it was a food
Yeah.
lab. It wasn't a
It
kitchen,
was.
right? I'd say I'm going to have 27 grams of cheddar cheese, right?
And if you had decided to become a Coke dealer, you were getting
I know.
pretty
I
good
already
at
had all the
guessing
scales.
gram weight.
And there would have been better money in it.
Yeah, but anyway, we didn't go that route.
So when Darlene said this is the longest you've ever gone without even like a piece of cheese,
Yeah.
like nothing.
No.
I followed the diet, but the thing is, this is the first time I've actually focused more on the carbs than anything,
Yes.
and they've been rock. So a 12-day fast, it was 0 carbs for 12 days,
Yes.
right? And I was still, I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit hungry. Then I had problems with fatigue.
By
right?
times, yeah.
But then I went back on to a intermittent fasting. I'd eat one meal one day to the next. I'm still walking. I'm burning 15 to 1600 calories a day walking.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm walking 20 to 25 kilometers every day.
Yes.
But aside from that, before when I did it once a week, I would lose it, right?
Oh, big time. Like
right.
we're talking like a almost 2-liter tub of ice cream between the two of us. That would be gone.
Or I
right?
get a family, I just lose it. I get a family-sized bag of chips. I'd sit back. Remember my 600-pound life?
What was our favorite show?
Dr. Nawazarda.
Dr. Nowzar.
What a great guy.
My 600
I'm not a
pound
fan of surgical fixes for obesity,
No,
right?
But we were fascinated.
Right.
with the
And like I said,
show.
but I mean, everybody that loves the gastric bypass
Yeah.
thinks that intermittent fasting is super dangerous. Well, it's not as
Yeah.
dangerous as that.
No.
Anyways, we'd
no.
watch
So
the
you'd be
show.
laying on the couch.
I'd be laying on the couch with a family-sized bag of chips, eating it because that made me look
We
like
always wanted to eat when that show was
yeah,
on.
because that made me look like a bigger jerk when I'm watching the show, right? And then when the show
Oh.
was over, I'd say to Darlene, "Get the shop vac, clean me up a bit, so I don't." When I stand up,
Make a mess.
the chips don't all fall on the floor, right?
Oh,
But I would
dear.
lose it. And
Yeah,
you know what?
would, and then you'd have to get back on it and white knuckle it all again.
So
over
here's
again.
here's the story. I'm the same guy. I have the same willpower. I mean, I haven't seen a psychologist. I'm not in therapy. I'm the same guy.
Yeah.
And apparently then I didn't have enough willpower to go for a week when I was allowing the carbs to creep up to higher levels. I was trying to be low carb, but I'd have 60 or 70 carbs a day
Yeah,
sometimes.
which we know now
and
is
think
high.
that was fine.
Yeah.
Now that I'm keeping it under 20 and
Yeah.
more like under 5 or 10 a day,
Yeah.
I can for the first time ever manage my cravings.
It was never about willpower.
No.
Never about willpower. It never is.
Yeah.
It's an addiction.
This is Brian from the future. Yeah, I lied. I was off a couple times. I had a couple beers, but it was just a couple beers. It wasn't 3 or 4 beers. It wasn't 2 beers and a pizza or chips or that kind of thing. So I really felt like it was under control, and it's just part of living. But yeah, I was off a couple times. I think 3 nights I had a couple beers in the 30 days. It's an addiction.
It's a serious addiction.
And the thing is, like I said, I'm doing another rant, so you'll have to hang on till I'm done. You don't have to. Just turn it off. So I know guys that have ruined their lives, their marriages, their relationship with their kids. I know guys that have done that through alcohol.
Of course.
And nobody's surprised. That's what happens to an alcoholic.
Right.
First thing they lose is their family, then their jobs, their health, everything.
It's all gone.
And I know people that have done the same thing through food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I know guys that have been heavy enough, they've developed health problems where they were no longer allowed to work, right?
Yeah.
Guy I worked with out west, right? Johnny, right? He put on a ton of, like he was a heavy guy anyway. Then he started having trouble with his knees. We were working in the oil field. You had to be able to climb up and down on flat decks.
Had to be
right?
nimble.
Yeah. So now he's lost his job. He's lost his revenue. He can't support his family anymore.
Right.
His wife leaves him. He has a poor relationship with his kids, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just like the alcohol thing. It's just as serious, right?
Yeah. It is.
And he was a good guy, but I don't think he ever once looked at his issues with weight and the problems they caused him as an addiction.
No.
Or something that could be controlled through the carbs.
For sure.
And I think at least like it worked for me, and I think it could have worked for him.
You must have this dialogue in your head, right? This inner dialogue saying, okay, I don't have any willpower. I'm a failure. So what does that lead to? You eat more because you give up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never thought that.
No.
I thought it a couple times.
It's not about willpower. It's not about that at all.
Right. So I think every single person, and I mean, we're not talking about somebody that, got out of college or university and stopped playing sports and over the next 20 years gained 15 pounds.
No,
we're not talking about those people.
No.
We're not talking about the man or woman that as they settled into family life gained 15 or 20 pounds.
No.
These are about people that have dealt with obesity their whole life. A lot of them from the time they were kids.
Yeah.
They were chunkers.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a big indicator that you have a real problem with carbs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's an addiction. And
But
it really has to be
addressed. It has to be addressed.
Right.
And it hasn't been typically up till now with the nutrition and the medical side of things. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm not going to say it's not your fault, but it isn't really. It really isn't. An addiction is an addiction.
Right. So
across the board.
Dr. Ken Berry, one of the guys I've been following. And I mean, you can pick anybody to follow on YouTube, but this guy says basically he feels like he failed a lot of patients because obese patients will come into his clinic. This is in Tennessee.
Right.
I think it's one of the states that has extremely high levels of obesity, right? Usually through the South they do, right?
Yeah.
And he would just tell them to go to Weight Watchers.
Yeah.
And he said he realizes now Weight Watchers has told the whole world that their program had 0 success for obese people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he said all along he was telling these people to go and do something that he feels like he should have known at the time wouldn't work. Right?
He knows better now. And
right. And
he's
he feels responsible. So now he's going out of his way to make viable options for people that will work. Right?
Yes. Yeah. So there you go. Don't give up.
Yeah. Keep at it.
Yeah.
And always be willing to look at something different.
Look
See
and
if
listen.
it might just fit your lifestyle, right?
Yeah, it might not. Hopefully it will. You'll find your way.
Yeah.
Don't quit.
And if you're, a shop vac is a great way to clean chips up.
To clean up a husband.
It's been eating potato chips on the sofa.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Bye for now.
Bye now.